everyone, this is Tanvi and welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is the first of a video series in which I would be talking about the similarities between India and Thailand in a historical perspective. So without further ado, let's get into it. The reason why I got into all of this is because of Thai BL dramas. Yes, Thai BL dramas. I am a huge fan of Tetawan Vihokrat. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong.
5 minutes later.
I then watched a show by GMM TV, which is having Tetawan as the host, and that's titled Saneh Hong Kruang. That is a cooking show, but a lot of things about history is talked about in there. I then stumbled upon a lakon, which is called Buphe Saniwat. And this drama was set in the Ayutthaya kingdom. That was during the reign of King Narai, and that was around 1657 to 1688 AD. And while I was watching the drama, I couldn't help but to notice a lot of similarities between Thai culture and Indian culture. So around the time in India, we were having the Bhakti movement in the northern Indian region, which actually originated in South India around 5th century AD. We were under the influence of many other foreign rulers like the Mughals, and in South India, the Portuguese had already established a sea route. And we were under the influence of the Western people as well. So the drama made me feel that these customs are very ancient, and in India we don't find that much of adherence to ancient customs because there was a lot of cultural fusion here. So the reason why Thailand retained all of that traditional elements is because it was never subject to colonialism. And as you can see in these pictures, you can immediately say that this style of dressing is very Indian. We can see it evidently in the literature and also in sculptures. I've never seen anyone wearing those clothes, even in historical dramas. And the historical dramas of India in many Indian languages tend to be inaccurate when it comes to costumes. They just make it very extravagant and, full of gold and all of that. So it was quite different from how people were. However, when I watched Thai dramas and the pictures from their photo shoots, I found that was more close to Indian sculptures. So as you can evidently see in these pictures. So this clothing belongs to the Dwaravadi period, and it was one of the first Indianized states established in Thailand by the Mon people. And the Mon people are of Burmese origin. And later on, the Thai ethnic group from south of China migrated and settled in Thailand. Another thing which I'd like to mention is that we see a lot of Indian women wearing sari with a blouse. And what I'd like to say here is that these blouses were introduced by the British because back then Indian women didn't wear a blouse under the sari, because this blouse, even as a person who has worn that, I would like to say that it's very constrictive and it's highly uncomfortable. And that too, with the hot weather in India, it's not very practical to wear it, but that's how people are wearing it right now. I guess the people from the West were very uncomfortable looking at women baring their shoulders and not wearing something that would cover their upper body. So Indian women too wanted to look more appealing to the Westerners. So they began adapting their style of stitching into Indian clothing. And that's how the blouses were invented. And to this day, women are still wearing the blouse. In literature, you can see that both men and women had a lower garment, which was like the present-day dhoti, and women especially had another piece of cloth that was tied around their chest. So, and on top of this, either men or women, both of them can wear another cloth on top of that for protection against heat or against cold. That was called the uttariya. So that's how the clothing was structured. And you can see this in comics like Amar Chitra Kada. And this sort of clothing was found in the Dwaravadi period. So they maintained it. But in India, we had a lot of change in our clothing, so immediately wouldn't notice it. Another interesting thing which I found was the earrings which people wore in the Dwaravadi period. The earlobes were very long and they were very huge with big earrings hanging at the bottom. So as you can see in this picture, it is a Khmer sculpture of an Absara. So this is also found in Indian sculptures as well. You might say that sort of earlobes are impractical and I've never seen anyone having that sort of earlobes, but think again. Let me show you these pictures. So as you can see, these women are from rural southern India in the states of Tamil Nadu and Kerala, where this sort of jewelry worn is called the pambadam. There's a specific procedure for people to wear this. Women, when they are very young, they have their earlobes pierced with a knife. Usually, if we have to get ear piercings, we just have a straight point. But these women, they have their ears cut with a knife, and they probably don't remember that pain to this day because that was done when they were very young. Gradually, weight was added to that earlobes. And my interpretation is that when women are young, they have collagen being produced in their body, so their ears stretch when weight is added to that. But that doesn't happen when you are old. When you're old and you have your ears cut, the skin just rips apart. I've seen my granny having that sort of a issue with her ears. So it just tears, the skin just tears. But the way it extends to this length is because the weight is added gradually ever since they're young. So later on, when they are really, really old, it just stretches to a huge length. And as for the sculptures which I'm seeing, Apsaras are considered to be really, really beautiful. And Apsaras are divine dancers. And there are also references of Indra sending Apsaras down to earth to distract sages from their penance. So they are considered to be so beautiful that they can even distract sages who have conquered worldly desires. So if Apsaras are so beautiful as that, and they are depicted in statues with this sort of long earlobes, that means this was considered to be a symbol of beauty and elegance back in those days. And even now, you can see it in rural India, but thanks to today's modernization, you don't see it anymore. You just see it in the older generation, and younger people no longer do that today. Yes, and of course, when they are children, it would be immensely painful to do that. Well, that's it for today's video, and if you really love listening to this talk, please do subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. And I would really love to know your opinions, so feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. So until next time, peace.